Hello, I'm Daniel. The teaching I'm going to talk about today is examine the nature of awareness. Examine the nature of awareness. And it's from the lojong teachings, which I've been going over. And examine the nature of awareness sounds pretty profound. The implication is if we look at ourselves really clearly, if we really try to examine ourselves, we may be interested in what we find. We may be scared by what we find too. If we really dig deep in examining ourselves, the truth is that all we really find is awareness. Awareness. Who are you? Is the question I want you to reflect on. Who is it that's paying attention to this right now? Who's listening? Take a moment and just think about yourself. Look within and just think, who is this? How much of what we tell ourselves is our identity really comes from labels we're putting on ourselves, or labels others have put on us, Like, if you were told all your childhood that you talk too much, then maybe you have this label you've put on yourself that you're talkative, right? That's just the thing you were told, though. It's not who you are. And if we look within, we can see a lot of labels, thoughts and emotions, baggage and stories, things that sort of cling to our sense of identity, but that are not fundamentally who we are. Not fundamentally who we are. When we do meditation practice and come to a point of mental stillness, sometimes there's a point where we're just aware and not holding on to that other stuff. Just here and now. Just sitting is happening. Thoughts are happening. Thoughts are just happening rather than I'm thinking. We can turn our minds into that state where thoughts are happening rather than I'm thinking. That's kind of a hard thing to think about, huh? When we really look at our minds honestly, we find nothing at the center but awareness. So what does this mean? Well, if we're looking at ourselves and the nature of our awareness, maybe we can see things as they really are. Maybe we can experience the world without the filter of what we have in our perception, without the emotional baggage and neuroses that are holding us back. I like to think about we see the world like through those old-timey 3D glasses, you know what I'm talking about, with red on one side and blue on the other. So you see colors everywhere that aren't actually there, but you see them because of what you're wearing. We are like that. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world through an immense filter of everything that's happened to us and our emotional baggage, and sometimes we make mistakes because we don't see clearly. And that's part of what we're talking about too. Sometimes we make mistakes because we don't see clearly. The truth is that when we don't see the world clearly and we're not good at paying attention, and maybe we're unhappy or we feel unfulfilled, then it's very easy for people to sell us stuff and to trick us in lots of ways. And people know that too. So it's really beneficial to us, even from a selfish perspective, it's really beneficial to us to learn how to see things in a more clear way. Clarity is very important for making the best decisions we can. Clarity is very important. My mother didn't do a lot of telling me what to do. She often said, though, make good choices. And that's maybe some of the best advice we can really give to young people, is just try to make the best choice you can. There are times in life where we know what the best choice is and we don't really want to do it, right? We want to do something that's not the best choice. And that can easily happen, but at least with some clarity we can know what we're doing and make informed choices so that we know, I probably don't need to take this last cookie. It's not good for me, but at least we know it, and maybe sometimes we will resist taking the last cookie. We can bring real awareness to our lives and not function on autopilot all the time, and we can sort of respond instead of reacting. We can choose how to respond to the vagaries of life, to the things that happen to us and around us. We can make choices instead of just a thing happens and I react this way, right? We can make choices, and that's what we're talking about here. If we learn how to not cling to the mind, the state of mind that says I, me, mine all the time, that is just obsessed with our desires, then we can have a better relationship to the world around us. We can learn how to be a little less angry, a little less selfish. Just a little less is immense benefit. We can be a little kinder and a little more compassionate and a little wiser. So we can make better decisions and we can be more harmonious with the people in our lives. And that's what this is all about. It's just having more harmony in your life. The truth is that if we can look at ourselves clearly, even for a short time, we can see everything else more clearly. We are the first thing we learn how to pay attention to is ourselves. We don't realize sometimes how much our filters and our baggage hold us back from interacting with the world and experiencing the world in a more authentic way. And that's sort of what it's all about, seeing things more clearly so we can learn how to be more real. It's so we can be more open and vulnerable with the world around us. The truth is, you are not your baggage. You are not your emotions. And you are not your expectations. And also, you are not your past. We can easily define ourselves by our past, by things that have happened to us. We could say, I'm an orphan. We can say, I'm a widow, right? We could say, I'm a divorced person. But that's not who you are. You are you. You are not the things that happen to you. And we could easily say, I'm an angry person. But that's not who you are either. We're taking these, it's sort of like we're defining ourselves by the clothes we wear, almost. You're not an angry person. You're not a depressed person. You're not a sad person. You are you. And these things are baggage that you're carrying. These things are, you are the sky, and your anger is the weather. You're the sky and your anger is the weather. These things just come and go, and they don't define us. They can't define us. We can't let them define us, because if you define yourself as an angry person or as a distracted person or as a depressed person, you are going to make that come true. You are. So we have to really be careful with how we define ourselves. What if we define ourselves as a good person, as a helpful person, as a wise person? Well, then we're flipping the script and we're taking that power. We're stepping into that power and saying, no, I don't want to be a selfish person. I want to be a compassionate person. I don't want to be someone who doesn't like people. I want to be someone who's friendly to all people. That's what we're talking about here. That is the empowering part of this. We can flip the script. We can decide how to define ourselves. We don't have to just listen to those bad voices. We can change how we think. We can change how we see ourselves. We can. I promise. We can. I want to take a minute and just do a short, very short guided meditation. I'm going to ring my bell and I'm going to direct you, and then I'll ring the bell at the end again. It'll be really short. Don't worry. Close your eyes and sit in a way that's comfortable, and take a deep, heavy breath. I want you to just ask yourself mentally the question, who am I? Who am I? And just reflect on that. Who am I? And at the same time, as you're reflecting on that, notice the things that come up in your mind as who you're not also. Who am I? And we'll just do this for about a minute. Just really sincerely try to dig into that question. Who am I? Who is it that is sitting right now? Thank you for taking the time to sit with me and to listen to me today. And if you did that, asked yourself the who am I question, I would like to see some answers down in the comments of what came up if you think it's interesting and worth sharing. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. And reflect on who you are and reflect on who you want to be also. We are all carrying around more than we need to. Thank you. Have a good day.